How to build a strong Avenger. Lots of people have asked me this, and to be honest with you, it all starts right here on this helicarrier. To build a strong Avenger really all starts in the harm room. You know how there's the X-Men and they go work out in the danger room? Well, the Avengers have a harm room. Alright, so right here is our war table where you can make mission selections. On the war table, you see there's many places to choose from. And obviously, we're going to choose the helicarrier. So here we have a selection of missions on the helicarrier. And these are all training missions in the harm room. Just like we spoke about earlier with the X-Men in the danger room. You have harm challenges 1 through 5. Each hero has their own training module. The harm room is designed to help you improve the skills for your characters. They also have a harm training basics module, and that just goes over general basics that applies to all of your heroes. And then once you've completed 1 through 5, you can increase the challenge by choosing priority harm challenge modes. And they have 2 of them to choose from. And no matter which mission you choose, you could select the difficulty. Some of these are locked right now because they are currently making changes to the levels in the game. When the game started, power level 150 was challenge level 4. But they are planning on adding more challenging levels to the game. Therefore, they have condensed the challenge levels. And now challenge level 2 is the equivalent of the old challenge level 4. So, as you can see, these are all the missions you can choose from to help build your character and make them stronger. But exactly how do you do that? Do you just go in and fight the missions? Completed exercises in the harm room improve your level. I recommend a lot of harm room exercises when you begin, and that will help you get your level to level 50. Now, how do you build your power? Well, building your power is basically collecting better and better gear over time, which then will improve your power. You have your melee gear, your ranged gear, your defense gear, and your heroic gear. You can get gear from chests that you find in missions, and you can get gear from enemies that you defeat. And this is a piece of gear I picked up earlier today. Do you see how it says next boost 130 power? That means the next level up for this card is power level 130. Obviously, because we're currently at power level 129. This particular card only increases 5 levels. So the top level for this particular piece of gear would be level 134. We're going from level 129 up 5 levels to level 134. To use this piece of gear as an example, at the top of the screen you see my nameplate with the picture of the Hulk, and in the right hand corner it says 150 power. Next to that you see 4 sections: melee rating, ranged rating, defense rating, and heroic rating. Every piece of gear you pick up in the game has these stats, and the stats on the piece of gear that you collect are always compared in percentages to the piece of gear that you already have on. So right now I have on, for my melee gear, I have on lightweight buff nanites for my melee. If you go one over to the right, you'll see that I have 129 gear. Now if you look at the percentages, that is 28% less melee, 15% less defense, 15% less range, and 9% less heroic. You always want to find gear that will increase your stats, and the increase should always be greater than the decrease. So if you have percentages, your green percentages are an increase and the red percentages are a decrease. You also have your minor artifacts and your major artifacts. All of these items affect the increase or decrease of the percentages of the stats on your character. So when you collect gear, it's very important to make sure that when you're adding gear, even if the piece of gear you have on is a level 130 and you collect a piece of gear that's a level 132, if the percentages on the 132 don't improve your character's ratings or your character's statistics, it's not really a better card or a better piece of gear, even though it's a higher card number. To view your hero statistics, you use the R3 button while in the gear screen. These are your hero statistics. I won't go into detail about it now, but I wanted you to be able to see where you would find your hero statistics as you get further into the game. In my melee gear, I have 2 pieces of inventory that I could choose to use or choose not to use. One piece of gear is level 129. One piece of gear is level 130. On the middle of that card, you'll see it says next boost 131 power, and then to the right of that it shows 0 out of 5. Now if I were to increase this card a level, which I'm going to show you right now, now it changed to 1 out of 5. And now that card went from a level 130 to a level 131. Now, the percentages above for the melee rating, ranged rating, defense rating, and heroic rating read as 32%, negative, for the melee rating, 20% negative for the range rating, 4% positive for the defense rating, and 20% negative for the heroic rating. So for me, this is a horrible card to use. I wouldn't use this. It would decrease the strength of my character. Now, if you were viewing a different card that showed mostly positive percentages and very little negative percentages for your character, whether it be for your melee, for your range, for your defense, or for your heroic, if it's improving your character with positive percentages, then it's a good card to use. Here's one more example. Planet Cracker Dendrites. This is an exotic gear that you get when you run higher level missions further along in the game. Don't worry about that right now. Just look at the percentages. Now, this really isn't too bad of a card. It's 21% positive, 12% negative, and 14% negative. Now, if you add those percentages together for the negatives, you'll get 26% negative. So that means overall, I'm losing 5% on my statistics if I use it on my hull. 5% really isn't too great of a loss, but you really don't want to sacrifice any more than 5% when switching characters. Now, why would I use this card even though the percentages are a little higher on the negative side than the positive side? Well, each piece of gear has what they call gear perks. Now, on this Planet Cracker Dendrites card, you can see the gear perks are Aggressive Might, Heroic Assistance, and Aggressive Buff. Aggressive Might increases the damage dealt to taunted enemies by 20%. That means if I'm fighting someone and they're taunted by my actions, I'm going to do more damage to them because of this card. Also, Heroic Assistance increases charge rate of heroic support ability by 18%. So your support ability will increase faster when you're using this card. Then we have the third statistic, Aggressive Buff. When using this card, you have a 34.6% chance of getting a damage buff when defeating a taunted enemy. 34.6% is an excellent percentage in this game. Okay? There are cards with higher percentages, but trust me, that's not bad. So, the reason why I would possibly use this Planet Cracker Dendrites is because it allows me to focus a higher melee rating for my Hulk. So let me show you what happens when I put this piece of gear in. Did you see that? Let me go back and show you again. My melee rating is 2123. But when I put in the Planet Cracker Dendrites, it is now 2569. Now, in my experience, if you have a defense rating of 1500 or higher, that's not so bad. Okay? And I'm going to be creating another video about strategies on how to be the best superhero that you can be. So we won't go into that right now. But what I will say is, the lower your defense, the more mobile you want to be when you're fighting enemies. Because you don't want to get hit. You don't want to get hurt. The higher your defense, the less damage you take. The lower your defense, the more damage you take. But with the Planet Cracker Dendrites that I just plugged in, you see it raised my melee rating to 2569. So in turn, I would be doing a lot more damage, a lot quicker to enemies. And therefore, if I stay mobile, I don't have to worry about going down, and I don't have to worry about fighting enemies for too long because I'm doing more damage to them. But that's really a choice that you have to make when you play this game. And that's part of customizing your characters. And that's another video that I'll be going into in detail in the near future. But yes, when you're building your character and you want it to be a strong Marvel superhero, you want to make sure that the gear you're using on your character is increasing your percentages and not decreasing your percentages. That is key. And that's just the basics that I wanted to go over with you on how to build a strong superhero. Very simple. Watch your percentages on the gear that you're putting in. Please stay tuned for future informative videos like this coming from Channel B Twitch. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. It always helps. It always helps. All right, thank you all. You have a good night, and thanks for watching the video to the end. Bye now.